Shalom, shalom, it's the brother Kadash. I want to start off by giving our praises to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahawashi, Bahashem, Rakakadash, double honors to the apostles and the elders, peace, blessings, and honors to all the brothers in this truth. As you see your picture right here, I got this off social media. So, on different social medias, I get, I'm just seeing what the people is sharing and posting, different pictures and stuff like that. And every now and then, I'll see one that's interesting. And then you'll be like, dang, look, this is being a fulfillment of the prophecy of Jeremiah chapter 31, the house of Israel and the house of Jacob coming back together. So as you see, you got a lighter hand Puerto Ricans. You got a one that's a little bit darker Mexicans, and one that's even a little bit darker Dominicans, and the one that's even darker that's blacks, which these are all Israelites, different tribes, but all Israelites, the true Israelites on the earth. And the funny thing about it is, yeah, I could see it, Puerto Ricans usually are lighter than Mexicans, Dominicans are darker, blacks, but really, you have these different shades amongst Puerto Ricans, all these same different shades. Same thing with blacks. Like, my mother is probably the color of what the Mexican one would be, and my younger brother. I'm probably like the color of the Dominican one myself. So we're not all the color of Wesley Snipes, but you have these different colors amongst Mexicans, Dominicans, Puerto Ricans, and blacks, if truth be told. So this gave me the spirit just to say, look, Yahawashi shall dwell with the elect, because the elect is going to come from these different tribes, and we are going to come together. But I wanted to just pull a couple precepts on the prophecies of us coming together first. So I'm just going to run and hit those real quick, which is Jeremiah chapter 50, verse 4. It says, in those days, in that time, saith the Lord, the children of Israel should come, they and the children of Judah together, going and weeping, they should go and seek the Lord their God. So we're going to come together and seek the Lord, the children, because remember, if for those that's unlearned, there was a split during the ancient times in the land of Israel. You had the southern kingdom, you had the northern kingdom. The northern kingdom consists of the 10 tribes. The southern kingdom consists of Judah, Benjamin, but Levi was also scattered too amongst them. So you had the northern kingdom go into captivity by the Assyrians. They were led out the land. The southern kingdom, Judah, Benjamin, Levi, was still in the land. Then that's where you get Second Chronicles and stuff from, where you got the different various kings, Solomon, Rehoboam, Abijah, Asa, going down all the kings all the way down to I believe Zedekiah, the last one. And eventually they went out of captivity into the Babylonian captivity. So now Jeremiah 50 is telling you, look, the house of Israel, the northern kingdom, and the house of Judah, the children of Judah, the southern kingdom, which makes up the 12 tribes of Israel, should go. We should come back together in captivity, and we should go weeping unto the Lord, and should seek the Lord their God. They shall ask the way to Zion with their faces untilward, saying, come and let us join ourselves to the Lord in a perpetual covenant that shall not be forgotten. And then that's when you get Jeremiah chapter 31. That's going to be that next covenant, which is called the new covenant, and that's what we're going to have in the kingdom of heaven. If you jump to Hosea chapter, oh man, I might have to jump back to that. Salaki here. Let me jump back to that. Yeah, jumping back to Jeremiah 50, I almost forgot. Verse 33 says, thus saith the Lord of hosts, the children of Israel and the children of Judah were oppressed together, and all that took them captive held them fast. They refused to let them go. And then that's when you get the answer. So the children of Israel, the northern kingdom and southern kingdom, is prophecy that we would be in a place where we're oppressed together, which we know that's Mystery Babylon, which is America. Revelation chapter 18. Then that gets you to Isaiah chapter 14, when it goes down to verse 2. And the people should take them and bring them to their places, and the house of Israel should possess them. The same people in Jeremiah 50 verse 30 that held us fast and would not let us go, we're going to take them as possessions, as servants and slaves, in the land of the Lord for servants and handmaids. And they shall take them captives, who captives they were, and they shall rule over their oppressors. So remember, Jeremiah 50 said we are oppressed together. Now we're going to rule over our oppressors in Babylon, because even in verse 4 it says, thou shalt take up this proverb against the king of Babylon and say, how has thy oppressor ceased? The golden city ceased. This ain't talking about ancient Babylon, because the golden city referring to Revelations 18 is talking about mystery Babylon, modern day Babylon, which is America. And then that gets you to Ezekiel 37. You know, you got to write upon the stick the house of Israel, house of Judah, when they come asking, you know, pretty much you got to break it down. Why? Because we will be in the same place being pressed together, and we will return and come back together. And you see that going on with the camps. If you go to various camps, you see brothers of all these different nations coming together, and even brothers that's out there teaching like myself, you know, or wives, you know, my wife is Mexican, you know, so I know that whole side of the family, her mom, her grandmother, and stuff like that, her heritage. So we're coming all back together. And even with her, you know, some of her family members, I'm gonna put my business all the way out there, but they starting to see the truth. They starting to get the breakdowns. You know, I seen you know, one of the family members was like, yeah, yeah, do you know that the blacks and the Mexicans are Hebrew Israelites, you know, so that truth been going out there. So they've been seeing that, because that's prophecy that we're going to wake up and come back together. Hosea chapter 1 verse 11. Then shall the children of Judah and the children of Israel be gathered together, and appoint themselves one head, and they shall come up out the land, for great shall be the day of Jezreel. So we're going to appoint Yahawashi as our head, and then we're going to come, because remember in Jeremiah 50 it says they should go weeping towards the Lord. And then that's who's going to come back and save us, but we are going to reunite together. So back onto the point, the second part, I guess, of this that I wanted to speak of is, speaking of Yahawashi should dwell with the elect, you know, and that's when I'm going to start off with 2nd Esdras chapter 2 to show you how that's going to happen. This pretty much breaks it down, but I'm going to bring out some more precepts too to go along with it. That should be 2nd Esdras 2. Yep, 2nd Esdras chapter 2. I remember I found this one on my own just studying the Bible, and I still remember when I came across this one a long time ago, and I was 2nd Esdras 2, and I wrote it down. I was like, oh dang, that's talking about the elect with the Lord. I came by it all by myself, just simply studying and reading. And see, like Proverbs chapter 1, we attain the wise counsel, and you're going to learn a lot of things from the wise counsel, our elders and our apostles, but a lot of these things too has to come from you getting in the book and just studying and stumbling across stuff, and the Lord opens your eyes to see it. That's called directly learning from the Lord, because the Spirit opens your eyes up to see it. And then you would take this, and since I wrote it down and I got an understanding of it, you know, when I first read it, I'm like, okay, I believe that it's talking about this. I got an understanding of it. It's pretty much talking about what it says. Everything ain't some deep dark breakdown. Some things it's speaking literally what it says, right? Or the scriptures, the next couple lines break it down for you, you know. So, you know, and then you would take this, and then you might go to one of the elders' videos just to reconfirm that you got it right. Now this is starting at verse, I want to start at verse 42. 2nd Esdras 2 verse 42. It says, I Esdras saw upon the Mount Sion a great people who I cannot number, and they all praised the Lord with songs, and in the midst of them there was a young man of higher stature. So if you had to make a educated guess who that young man is of higher stature, you would be correct if you said Yahawashi, the Lord. Taller than all the rest, and upon every one of their heads he set a crown, and was more exalted. So when you get to Revelations 2 verses 10, be thou faithful even to death, and you should have a crown of life, and you should have the crown placed, you know, in your head. Well, who's going to be doing that? Yahawashi. And more exalted, and I marvel at greatly. I believe if you go into Hebrews chapter 1, maybe Colossians chapter 1, Hebrews chapter 1, it shows you how he's more exalted, you know. It says, so I asked the angel and said, sir, what are these? And he answered and said it to me, these be they that have put off mortal clothing and put on immortal. I'm just quoting these scriptures. First Corinthians chapter 15 breaks down the immortal, you know, because in the twinkling of an eye, 1 Corinthians 15, starting at verse, I believe, 51, you know, in a twinkling of an eye, you be changed to that incorruptible body, that immortal body that has the victory over death, so you won't die no more. The elect, and have confessed the name of God, now are they crowned and receive palms. Yahweh Bahashem Yahawashi. It says, then I said unto the angel, what young person is that crowneth them? See, so sometimes it just breaks it down itself. And giveth them palms in their hand. And he answered and said unto me, it is the Son of God, who they confessed in the world. Then I began greatly to command them that stood so stiffly for the name of the Lord. Wisdom of Solomon chapter 5 tells you those who stood so stiffly for the name of the Lord, you know. And I think Matthew 24 says, here, let me jump to it, matter of fact, so I can quote it. So it breaks it down to you, and technically the Apocrypha would be a part of the Old Testament, and that would be a Old Testament scripture on the Son of God, which is Yahawashi, for those that, you know, that say different. Matthew chapter 24, verse 9. Then shall they deliver you up and be to be afflicted, and shall kill you, and ye shall be hated of all nations for my name's sake. Why? Because we stood so stiffly for the Lord's name's sake, and that's the elect. So it's showing you that what was Yahawashi doing? He was giving crowns to the elect, so he was dwelling with them, which is my second part. Yahawashi should dwell with the elect. Now, if you go to another account, I've been pulling a lot of precepts on. I'm gonna finish up with these ones. First Thessalonians 4, starting at verse 17, it says, then we which are alive and remain should be caught up together with them in the clouds to meet the Lord in the air. So we going up into spaceships in the clouds, man. What the world calls so-called UFOs, but it's the chariots of the Lord, you know. Read Zechariah chapter 5. It's clearly talking about what the world calls a UFO to this day. So we're being called up to the clouds, and we're going to meet the Lord. Second Esdras chapter 13. You know, the gigantic mountain that he flew upon, we're going to be called up into it, and we're going to meet the Lord. We're going to actually get to meet him. And so shall we ever be with the Lord. So we're going to be with the Lord. So some people say, dang, man, so we're going to go into, you know, this heaven, and we're going to be with the Lord. No, heaven's going to be down on the earth, man. Revelations 21 to prove the point. I'll leave it off here. Verse 1. And I saw a new heaven and a new earth, for the first heaven and the first earth were passed away. Not literally talking about heaven and earth, the skies and earth. It's talking about the rulership. So you've seen a new rulership because the first one's passed away. Second Esdras chapter 6, verse 9. Esau was the end of the world, and Jacob is the one that followed, meaning the kingdom. So this world's going to be destroyed, and then the kingdom is going to be here on earth. And there was no more sea. And I, John, saw the holy city, New Jerusalem, coming down from God out of heaven. So 1 Thessalonians 4 and 17, you see the elect being called up in the sky to meet the Lord. Now Revelations 21 verse 2, you see New Jerusalem coming down from God out of heaven, prepared as a bride adorned for her husband. And a great voice out of heaven saying, behold, the tabernacle of God is with man, and he will dwell with them. And they should be his people, and God himself should be with them and be their God. So there goes another precept. Let me get another one real quick before I get up out of here. So the Lord will, Yahawashi should dwell with the elect. And then when you get to Revelation chapter 7, and you go back, starting at verse 15, it says, therefore are they before the throne of God, and serve him day and night in his temple. And he that sitteth on the throne shall dwell among them. We know who sitting on that throne. That's Yahawashi, and above him is the Father, Yahweh. They shall hunger no more, neither thirst any more, neither shall the sun light on them, nor any heat. For the Lamb which is in the midst of the throne shall feed them, and shall lead them into the living fountains of water, and God shall wipe away all their tears from their eyes, which is just saying our knowledge is going to come from the Lord, directly from the Lord. Our knowledge, our understanding, that's what it means. He should feed us. He's going to lead us to the living fountains of water, because living, the knowledge is what's going to keep us living, you know, which is what the law, statutes, commandments are for anyways, is to keep you living on earth. If you follow the dietary law, it's going to keep you living. If you follow the laws, don't commit adultery, a brother's not going to try to kill you, you know, stuff like that. So it's reasons behind it, and there's great reasons behind the law, statutes, commandments. It's for your own benefit. It's for you to have life. So we're gonna get that directly from the Lord. And then when it says, at the end, verse 17, and God shall wipe away all their tears from their eyes. If you jump back to Revelations 21, verse 4, it says, and God shall wipe away all the tears from their eyes, and there should be no more death, neither sorrow nor crying, neither should there be any more pain, for the former things are passed away. But key in on where it says, and there should be no more death. Because then when you go to 1 Corinthians 15, then you understand the same will come past, that death has been swallowed up. Oh, death, where is thy sting? Meaning we're going to be immortal. We're going to get immortality bodies, where we're going to be able to dwell in the kingdom, right? And the Lord's going to dwell there with us. So with that, hopefully it's been edifying. I'm going to say salvation to the elect. Shalom.